Okay, so last time I talked about the camera itself. Well, by the way, I am using the camera itself, which is why this video is going to look a hell of a lot better than the last one, I'm sure, and sound better too. But now I'm going to talk about a couple other accessories that I use that allow you to basically make high quality videos. The first thing, as you see here, this is a tripod that I actually bought in January of this year. The reason I bought it is because, as you see, it sits on a table. And so when I record my videos, what I do is I take this tripod and I place it like so on the table, and I position it perfectly, and that way, as you can see, the tripod now lines up with my 42-inch HD TV. So, you know, you have it at a perfect level. You can fart around with it, make your minute adjustments, whatever you need to do to get the right angle. The good thing is that it has fully adjustable legs. You know, you can mess around with these, maybe make, if it looks a little lopsided, maybe the table's not perfectly steady, you can make one leg a little bit taller than the other, or whatever you need to do. So basically you get your perfect shot lined up with the TV. How does it work? Well, it comes with this little attachment which works with any digital camera. Any camera you'll see at the bottom has a hole at the bottom of the camera right here where you can screw this screw into the bottom, and once that's screwed on, this actually just pops right into here with a little adapter here, and it holds your camera in place while you're recording. So that's the basic way I lined it up. Now, to be completely honest with you, I've been recording for a year and a half, and this wasn't the tripod I was using. Let me show you what I was using. Wait till you see this beast. Yes, this was my original tripod, this ginormous contraption. The reason I got this tripod is because originally I bought this probably about 4 years ago. I used to work at one of those electronics stores, and I had my store discount, and you'd be hilariously surprised at this. If you go to a store and you buy this tripod, this is the best one you can pretty much buy at like a Best Buy store. And this is going to run you, at that store, it's probably going to run you $90, if not more. And I'm not joking, that's the price tag that they charge for this tripod. I got this tripod, no lie, for probably $30. So think about the markup that you're paying on a tripod like this. My recommendation would be, if you don't have that kind of money, go online, see if someone's selling one second hand, see if there's one on eBay, because they're really not worth that much, but this is one of the accessories that unfortunately those retail stores tend to make a shitload of money off of. In contrast, this tripod, I believe, was on sale. It cost me around $40. So it's a much smaller tripod, though, as you can see. Now, don't get me wrong, this has attachments too that make it larger, but even when fully extended, this tripod here probably is only about half the height of this. And to give you some perspective, my camera right now is at my eye level, and I'm not as tall as the tripod. I'm 6 feet tall. The tripod is almost a full foot above me, so this tripod's probably about 6.5 to 7 feet tall. That's the tallest it can go. Now, why did I get this? It's because, well, at that time, it was way before YouTube had become popular, and I was like, I wanted to start doing videography, but I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. Actually, one of my first ideas was I was going to do a documentary about going to around the country attending Street Fighter tournaments, and to give a little bit of insight into that scene. But there wasn't, again, there wasn't like a YouTube or anything like that at that time where I would have shared those videos. So it was just kind of a rough idea. So I bought this tripod thinking, hey, this would be good for pretty much any situation. And the absolute truth of it is, when you get a tripod this big, it's pretty much going to work for anything you want, because when it's all the way down and all the legs, I mean, are folded up, it's all the way down here. I mean, you're talking only maybe 2.5 feet off the ground, if not that. So it is extremely adjustable. However, the reason that I did use this tripod for over a year, like I said, in fact, I used it up until the end of December of last year, sorry. And in January, I went and I bought this little one. And the reason I did that was because, just think of it, the practicality of it. I could either, every time I want to make a game video, I can move my entire table, which, by the way, doesn't have wheels, so it's a bitch to move across this carpet, all the way to the side of the room here, then move my big tripod in, try to get it, you know, sit down here, adjust it to the right height, adjust it to the right thing, and play the games. And then when I'm done, move the tripod back over, push the table back. It was just a huge hassle, and especially for me, I do have a back injury, so it's a lot harder for me to move heavy stuff around. So it was a real bitch to move this table for the, say, 3-4 months that I was doing gameplay since I moved in here. It really was a pain in the ass. So I said, I gotta do something, and that's when I said, you know what? If you have a table like this, you're probably gonna want to get a smaller tripod. It just makes more sense. It's a lot easy to adjust that thing. But don't get me wrong, if you don't have a table in your room, this kind of a tripod might be the way to go, because you can not only have the correct height for gameplay, but if you notice something, this background is actually the background where I do all of my video blogs, all my channel updates. So I actually use the large tripod about this height to do all of those updates. So this could be, you know, dual purpose. And also I take this thing everywhere, you know, when I go on a tournament or whatever, I usually take it with me, and I can use it to record crowd footage, to record, you know, actually I remember last year at one of the major tournaments I went to, the crowd was so big, I had to get over it. So I used the maximum height, and I went like this, and I looked down, and I was able to still record the matches. So it worked out pretty well. The other accessory, oh, excuse me. Oh, that's great. I just ate breakfast, and now I'm burping all over the place. The other thing that I use, as you see here, and you might be surprised to see this, you say, what is that? It looks like a lamp. Well, it is a lamp. You know, a lot of these videos you see online, you would think, oh man, I'm never going to be able to make a good quality video because I don't have professional grade equipment. I don't have professional grade lighting. That's all a bunch of bullshit. You don't need that to make decent videos. But basically what I do is, whenever I make a video, as you see, I turn on all the lamps, and it's pretty dark in here. As you can see, I don't have a ceiling light in my condo. It's pretty dark in here most of the time. I turn on my 2 lamps, and all I do is I take this lamp. It's one of the standard lamps, you know, college kids get it for their dorm rooms. It has 3 bulbs, and what you're going to want to do is, if you're going to really do videos, you got to get bright bulbs. So I've got 100-watt bulbs in here. I don't know if you can see that. There's 100-watt light bulbs that I put in there. And be careful, and here's why I say that. A regular lamp like this, under normal conditions, you do not want to put a 100-watt light bulb in these. It even says on them, please only install 60-watt or whatever. This lamp, if you're going to use it for regular lighting in a room, only use a regular 60-watt light bulb. The reason I use 100-watt light bulbs is because I only use it for a couple of minutes at a time to make like a video blog. So watch this. Watch the difference. Oops, it'll help if I left it on. The switch on this one's a little messed up. Now you see how much brighter this wall looks now? And so now if I'm going to make a video blog, you know, and I put my camera here, look how bright my hand looks. It looks excellent. You can see everything. You can see the detail, you can see a little bit of shadow, but you know, you don't see too much shadow on the wall. See, there's a little bit of shadow, but not too much. And that's why this is really good for video blogs. If you position your lighting correctly, usually it's better if you put it right behind, like at the side of the camera. So even if I move this over a little bit like this, more direct at the wall, and then the camera would be positioned here and I'd be standing at the wall, that would be ideal. Because then you get the direct, and if there's a shadow, the shadow's behind you rather than on the side, which could be a little bit distracting. But as you can see, that's it. All you need is a tripod, a camera, and a couple of easy dorm room lights, and you've got yourself a setup. Now, what I've done, I have used a couple different places in my condo for these videos. Recently I've been using this wall simply because you've got a white background, you've got a couple of things that are interesting for scenery. It's not just a plain white wall. There's other areas I've used, like right here I have a chair, which I've used before. Actually, let me, there we go, twist the lights a little bit. I've used this chair before, but the problem with this chair is that unless you have, you know, your tripod perfectly at the right height, which would be like maybe way down here, which is like level when you're sitting, you're looking like you're top down, and when you look top down, the lighting isn't perfect. So if you've seen a couple of my channel updates from the chair, it looks very dark and you can't really see anything here. This could be fixed, and I probably will be using this later on. All you need to do is adjust the lighting a little bit, you know, aim it down or whatever. And there's been some other places in my condo where I've done, you know, updates as well. Like, you might recognize this even though it's really dark. This is my kitchen, and I've done a couple updates from here. The reason I did it from here is because this kitchen, as you'll see, has one of the brightest lights in my condo because it's a ceiling light. So if you're standing there, you have some pretty good backlighting when you're talking. However, a lot of people said, oh, it's distracting, you're in your kitchen, what are you going to do, make a cooking video? Well, fuck you, maybe I will make a cooking video, but I just did it because I thought it was interesting to see, you know, oh wow, you're not just standing against a blank fucking wall, you can actually see it's a room in his house and he's here making videos. So that's pretty much it for like positioning and tripods and such. I have the 2 tripods. I really don't use this big one much anymore, only for the channel updates. I pretty much use the little one for all my gameplay footage. However, for things like my Hateful Truth videos and things like that, the Project 7 videos that I've done so far, I do use the larger tripod, and I use this lamp for lighting. And by the way, just to follow along with what I said before, I'm not going to leave it on for too long because, again, 100-watt bulbs are very bright, they're very powerful. You don't want them to be running in a lamp like this for too long. You know, maybe 20 minutes at a time, and then you want to give them a rest, because you'll actually find, just from those couple of minutes, ow, it's hot. It's actually hot as hell, because again, you know, this isn't a lamp that's a professional grade lamp that you'd be putting 100-watt light bulbs in. So that's it for that. That's just the basics of the tripods and things that I use. I guess what I'll discuss next is I'll actually probably put a game in, and I'll show you roughly how I work with my camera to adjust it for gameplay footage, how to get it to line up straight, how to fart with the brightness and such, because a lot of people always say, that's my question, I got a camera, I set it up, I go to make a video game, and it looks like shit, and even when I fuck with it a lot, it doesn't work well, so I'll go do that next.